Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So according to sources, the Trump administration is planning an overhaul to Social Security, which could mean, unfortunately, benefit cuts for hundreds of thousands of Social Security recipients. In today's video, we're going to be covering everything that you need to know, plus an update to the government shutdown, which right now we are into day 6 of the government shutdown. But before we go ahead and dive into for today, if you would like to receive up to $200 in free stock or $200 in free cash, in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Robinhood. All you have to do is once you click on that link is just sign up for a free account and then simply link your bank account. You do not even have to make an opening deposit. At that point in time, Robinhood will be sending you one free stock worth all the way up to $200. And if you really just have the cash, all you have to do is once you receive the free stock is just sell it for what it's worth and then transfer the cash value right back to your bank account. Okay, so diving right into for today. So first off, an update to the government shutdown. We are officially in day 6. How long is this going to keep dragging on? When are Republicans and Democrats going to end this thing, pass a long-term or even just a short-term funding deal? We'll have to see who blinks here. So according to ABC News, the Senate is scheduled to reconvene at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday, today, as the federal government shutdown continues for a 6th day. The body is expected to hold a vote at about 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time on a bill backed by Democrats to continue appropriations for the government. Republicans have opposed that version of the appropriations bill, which would include an extension of health care provisions. So more than likely, that bill is not going to pass. It's not going to have enough Republican support to reach the 60 votes that it would need in the Senate for it to pass. And they go on here to say that if the Democrat-supported bill fails to pass on Monday, the Senate is expected to again vote on a Republican-supported 7-week stopgap funding measure, a bill that's already passed a House vote. Both sides have continued over the weekend blaming the other for the shutdown and lack of compromise. So more than likely, the first bill they vote on, Republicans are not going to support that bill. And then, of course, the follow-up bill that's already passed the House with pretty much only Republican support is more than likely not going to garner enough Democratic support to be able to pass in the Senate. And we're probably going to head to a 7th day of a government shutdown after today. I said that, quote, "It is simple. Republicans can reopen the government and make people's health care more affordable at the same time," according to Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, which is what he said on social media on Saturday. He said they've chosen not to. This is their shutdown. Now, Senate Majority Leader John Thune, on the other hand, replied to the Democrats on Sunday. He said that Chuck Schumer instigated this at the will of far-left liberal interest groups, he said on social media on Sunday. And he added, Democrats need to come to their senses and vote for this short-term, nonpartisan CR and give us an opportunity to continue the bipartisan appropriations process. So both sides are blaming each other for the shutdown, and unfortunately, this is affecting millions of Americans. Some people are, not able to have a job because the government is currently shut down. How long is this going to drag on? And, right now the Trump administration is even, making threats of making some of these job losses permanent, where people wouldn't even have a job to come back to. We'll have to wait and see. Now, thankfully, some lawmakers are actually rejecting their pay during the time the government is shut down. However, when they do come back, they would collect any of the missed payments. So they're probably not going to necessarily be hurting here. So according to Fox News, a growing number of lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have declared they're foregoing their paychecks as the government shutdown drags on. The federal government has been shut down for nearly a week after Senate Democrats rejected Republicans' plans to fund agencies through November 21st multiple times. Representatives Chip Roy, a Republican in Texas, Ashley Hinson, Tom Barrett, Marinette Miller-Meeks, Rob Brissenhan are among the Republicans who wrote to the chief administrative officer of the U.S. House of Representatives asking for their pay to be withheld during a shutdown. Then we have Democrats like Representatives Josh Gottheimer and Lou Correa of California. They've also requested the same, but lawmakers requesting their pay to be withheld cannot forgo it altogether because federal law requires them to be paid. Article 1 of the Constitution states, quote, "The senators and representatives shall receive a compensation for their services to be ascertained by law and paid out by the Treasury of the United States. Further, the 27th Amendment prevents any changes to congressional pay until after the next election. So even though they are foregoing their pay, whenever the government reopens once again, they'll receive any payments that they missed out on. So it's not really necessarily going to impact them all that much. But again, we're on day 6 of the government shutdown. How much longer is all this going to drag on? We will have to wait and see. Leave your thoughts and comments below about that. Now, in some other news, the Trump administration, according to some sources, is planning a big overhaul to certain services of Social Security. And if this actually goes through, it could impact hundreds of thousands of Social Security beneficiaries or future Social Security recipients. So according to the Daily Beast, the Trump administration is reportedly plotting a major overhaul of Social Security that could see hundreds of thousands of older Americans lose their disability benefits. The Social Security Administration is considering eliminating age as a factor in determining eligibility for disability payments or raising the current threshold from 50 to 60, sources told the Washington Post. Now, currently, the SSA uses a mix of age, work experience, and education levels to assess whether a person can transition to other types of work before approving disability payments, and applicants over 50 are generally more likely to be approved, as age is often viewed as a limiting factor in retraining or career changes. Now, what exactly is the Trump administration planning to change as far as, eligibility goes to receive disability payments? They go on here to say that Jack Smulligan, a senior policy fellow at the Urban Institute and former Office of Management and Budget official, estimated that if eligibility were reduced by just 10%, roughly 750,000 people could lose benefits over the next decade, and another 80,000 widows and children could lose benefits tied to a disabled spouse or parent. Now, SSA spokesman Barton Mackey told the Post that the agency is working to propose improvements to the disability adjudication process to ensure our disability program remains current and can be more efficiently administered. And conservatives argue that reform is necessary as people live longer, and that many disabled workers could move into less physically demanding desk and office jobs. Now, basically, what they are looking to do here is perhaps raise the age of eligibility from 50 up to 60. So basically another 10 years to really be considered age as a factor. Now, they go on here to say that, however, Smulligan's research suggests that older people who lose their disability benefits often fail to transition into new roles, forcing them to tap into their retirement benefits much earlier than planned. And the overall is reportedly a top priority for Russell Vought, director of the Office of Management and Budget, a top Trump ally and former Project 2025 architect who featured as the Grim Reaper in a bizarre AI-generated video posted by the president last week. Now, this is something that's actually very common with the Trump administration. We have sort of some of these ideas leaked out into the press. The ideas get very, very unpopular, and then Trump comes out and says, "This is not my idea. This is not our idea. This is not our idea. This is not something that we're wanting to do." An example of this was just actually a couple of weeks ago, whenever it was leaked out that the Trump administration was perhaps considering raising the full retirement age from 67 up to 69 or 70. This was something that was very, very unpopular. It received a lot of pushback from both Republicans as well as Democrats. And because of that pushback, Trump came out himself and said that we're not actually considering raising the full retirement age up to 69 or 70. And we also had the current Social Security Commissioner come out and say the exact same thing as well, that we're not going to cut benefits. We're not going to be raising the full retirement age. So my prediction is that over the next couple of days, we'll probably see something very similar where Trump also comes out, or where the Social Security Commissioner comes out and says that this is something that we're not actually considering, especially just because of how unpopular this would be. But with that said, leave your thoughts and comments below. Would definitely love to read them. But that's all we have for today's video, and I will see you in the next one.